Okay, so I'm going to address the fighters I'm familiar with, and I'm going to start with the main event. I was disappointed during the pre-show when they during the vlogs that Dana White puts on and the UFC puts on the website to discuss the upcoming fights and showcase their fighters. I was hoping that Brock Lesnar would come back lighter, at least 10, 15 pounds lighter, and that he evened out his body, his legs, or he has chicken legs and a gigantic upper body, and that he would not be focused on being the big macho guy, being the big buff guy, and still kind of focusing only on his strength. I was really disappointed in that. Um, this entire time he was gone, he should have been working on jiu-jitsu because that's what gave him his loss last time. So I was disappointed in that, and I think that's going to be his downfall. People like to cite who he fought. We know Kim, the first guy he fought, was a bum. And we know Randy Couture, legend in the game, of course, founder, Hall of Famer, but he's an old man now. The only person I see him fighting, I would feel comfortable with him fighting, would be Coleman. Both these guys are fighting separate guys, so I give Brock Lesnar no credit for that. And yeah, okay, so he abused a mediocre fighter in Herring. Not a big deal to me. Not impressive. He needs to learn how to snap his punches when he push punches. Okay, so Mir has to approach this fight in his head. Number one, he has to know that he will not get a decision. I don't care if Brock Lesnar's head and lips are swelled up as big as basketballs and inner tubes and has to be carried out on a stretcher. His name is too big. He's too big. He has too much fanfare carryover, especially from the WWE. Mir will not get a decision. He has to have this in his head. He has to win the fight outright. Now, I've been noticing that it looks like he's getting a little overconfident, or he's trying to mend his fears with a little bit extra cockiness. If he gets into a brawl with Brock Lesnar, he's gonna lose. He will lose. He's not gonna win. This guy, his arms are as big as his legs. He's not gonna win. But if he goes in there like he did last time, Brock is going to try to take him to the ground. No problem. Mir will spend the entire fight on his back. He has no problem with that. So I think that number one, he has to not get into a pissing contest, and number two, be relaxed, don't get caught, and just depend on your jiu-jitsu. And he built his body up. And he is proportional. Unlike Brock, he's proportional. He has a lot of history behind him too. A lot of big fights. And so I think Mir is going to beat Brock Lesnar probably in the second round. Every round that goes into, it gets worse for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, if he's going to win, which I really doubt it, he has to win like in the first, maybe the second round. After that, he's done. Automatically done. He's not going to have the cardio that Mir has. I think that he's probably going to be on his back. The same thing's going to happen with Brock. He's going to try to pound him out, and he's going to get triangled, probably in the second round. So I'm going to say Mir by submission in the second round. Okay, so GSP versus Alves. This is for each of these fighters. This is probably the hardest fight that they have had or probably ever will have, unless there's someone else on the horizon. I do not see GSP coming in making very many mistakes. He's a very, very smart fighter. The way he analyzed the shoulders of BJ Penn, who also trains at sea level, which is going to give him a disadvantage, give Alves a disadvantage training at sea level, unless he for some reason has been gone to higher altitudes. How the blood works in his shoulders. GSP is a scientist with this. So Alves, if he thinks he's going to go in there and use his strength, it's a big mistake. And one thing that bothers me about some fighters out there, they think that, oh, okay, I lasted such and such time with the champ, and I had my title shot. You may never get another title shot ever again in your life. That's how it works. So you need to go all out. Now, it doesn't mean go crazy, but you need to take it dead serious. So again, with this fight here, I think that Alves has to put in his head he will not get a decision. Same thing with Brock Lesnar. GSP's head could be swelled up, carried out on a stretcher, broken legs. Alves will not get a decision. GSP is a legitimate champion, and he is a people's champion. So there's no way that Alves is going to get a decision. So I think the way that he is going to have to win is probably within the first round. And every round that goes into, it's going to get worse and worse for Alves. He has to catch him with some strikes, just like Sarah did. And when he catches him, he has to see his opportunity and go in for the kill. You can't delay. You have to do it immediately. This is a tough call, but I think that GSP is going to hold on to his belt. I think it will probably go to a decision, and then GSP will get the decision. Now, I'm biased towards Henderson just because the last tough Bisping got on my nerves. I hadn't really followed him very much, and I went back and watched some of his fights. He's kind of a mediocre fighter. I think that since Henderson has had his shots at the title, he had 2 titles in 2 different weight classes in Pride. And GSP is an up-and-coming fighter. He's a younger fighter. He's from the UK, and Dana White and Zuffa and UFC are trying to grow the sport over there. I think that the decisions are going to naturally veer towards the UK guy, and just for multiple reasons. If it goes to decision, I don't see Dan Henderson beating him. Even though I like Dan Henderson, I think he just he's a very good fighter. He's an adaptable fighter, but I don't really feel that he's going to be able to beat Bisping. I think it will probably be a 3rd round TKO for Bisping. And even though I hate to say it, but at least Dan Henderson will get a fatten up the lips of Bisping's big mouth.